The mining outpost of Relics 4 had many dangers, but none as infamous as the creature that lurked in the basalt canyons. The locals called it the Vorkal, a towering nightmare said to slice armored vehicles like soft fruit. Every scout team that ventured near its hunting grounds returned shaken, muttering about glowing eyes and a roar that cracked stone. For weeks the creature had stalked the perimeter, its footsteps rumbling through the ground at night. The alien settlers demanded extra guard rotations, emergency shelters, and evacuation drills. Rumors spread faster than shuttle traffic. Someone swore it had 3 mouths, another insisted it spat acid, and a frightened technician claimed it could steal thoughts. Fear kept the outpost tense, quiet, always listening to the wind that carried echoes of the beast's cries. But one person at Relics 4 was decidedly unimpressed. A human named Avery Collins, ecological surveyor, known for her optimism, stubbornness, and questionable survival instincts. While everyone else saw a monster, Avery saw a big misunderstood critter, as she put it. She spent days reviewing seismic readings, mapping footprints, and listening to audio logs, her excitement growing instead of shrinking. To the aliens' horror, she proposed an expedition, not to kill the creature but to study it. The Council of Supervisors protested, citing countless safety regulations. But Avery calmly pointed out that humans evolved on a death world full of things that wanted to eat them, so she knew how predators think. No one knew how to argue with that. So reluctantly, they approved the mission with strict conditions. She was to carry a distress beacon, a reinforced hazard suit, and a remote-activated stun array. Avery accepted all of it with a grin and a casual thumbs-up. The aliens watched with a mix of awe and dread as she marched alone into the canyon, humming cheerfully. By dusk, the sky glowed orange and violet, and the outpost trembled as the creature approached her last known coordinates. Everyone crowded around the surveillance feed, expecting screams, chaos, or an abrupt end to the humans' bravery. Instead, they saw something impossible. A massive shadow approached Avery, its silhouette dwarfing boulders, its eyes bright as molten metal. Avery looked up at it, then smiled. The creature froze, head tilted, confused by the lack of fear. And Avery said the words that would echo in Outpost legend for decades. "Hey there, big guy, who's a fluffy boy," she cooed, opening her arms like she was greeting a puppy. The monstrous Vorkal blinked twice, rumbled, and slowly lowered itself to sit in front of her. Back at the outpost, jaws hit the floor, screens flickered from sheer disbelief, and one guard fainted. Avery gently patted the creature's snout, utterly calm. "That's right," she whispered, "I'm gonna call you Fluffy." The canyon shook as the creature purred, a deep, thunderous vibration that sent dust cascading from the cliffs. The outpost erupted in chaos the moment Avery reappeared on the ridge, riding atop the Vorkal like it was a docile farm animal. The guards panicked, alarms blared, and someone yelled to activate the defense cannons. Avery waved both arms frantically, shouting, "Don't shoot, he's friendly," while the creature beneath her huffed warm air across the cliffside. The guards stared in frozen confusion, unable to reconcile the universe-shattering sight before them. The Vorkal, destroyer of machinery, Terra of the canyon, was playfully nudging Avery's boot. The aliens whispered urgently among themselves, afraid to breathe too loudly. No one knew whether the creature was genuinely tame or merely waiting to devour the human later. Avery hopped off its back and patted its leg, which was roughly the size of a hover truck. "Fluffy, sit," she said with casual confidence. To their collective shock, the beast obeyed immediately, lowering itself into a surprisingly neat-seated position. Gasps and chittered curses rippled through the crowd. The chief security officer, a four-armed insectoid named Vrek, approached with trembling antennae. "Avery Collins," he rasped, "you have bonded with the apex predator." Avery shrugged, He followed me home. Can I keep him? Several officers nearly choked. Vrek cleared his throat, trying to prevent a nervous breakdown. The Vorkal has a recorded aggression index of 9.8 on the lethal scale, he warned. Avery beamed. Yeah, but look at his face. The creature tilted its massive head and emitted a soft chirping sound, which caused half the guards to flinch and the other half to drop their weapons. To Avery, however, it was the cutest thing she had ever heard. She knelt and scratched under its chin, causing the beast to rumble with delight. Vrek backed away, muttering about transferring to a safer post like a war zone or an active volcano. Avery spent the next hour introducing Fluffy to the outpost. Every building shook when the creature walked, but it did so carefully because Avery asked it to. Researchers gathered data rapidly, astonished to find the creature responding to human vocal tones with dog-like attentiveness. Fluffy's species, previously believed to be nearly mindless, now demonstrated surprising intelligence. Avery explained that most animals weren't truly monsters, they just needed trust, patience, and a handful of dried meat strips. Alien scientists took notes furiously, convinced humans possessed an innate predator-whispering ability. Meanwhile, Fluffy nosed curiously at solar panels, nudged storage crates, and gently lifted a startled technician with a whiskered snout. Avery laughed. He likes you. The technician fainted in terror. By nightfall, the outpost had run out of theories and composure. Only one fact remained certain. Avery Collins had somehow domesticated the deadliest creature for 10 light years. And the creature adored her. Once the initial panic faded, Avery began a structured plan to teach Fluffy how to coexist peacefully with the outpost. The aliens approached the situation with military caution, scientific curiosity, and several emergency evacuation routes marked in bright neon. Avery approached it with a clicker, treats, and a cheerful smile. She stood in the main courtyard, Fluffy looming over her like a living mountain. "Okay, big guy," she said, "sit." Fluffy sat, shaking the ground with a low boom. The aliens recorded seismic data, jaws slack. "Good boy," Avery continued, "now roll over." Vrek and his entire security team dove for cover as the massive beast rolled onto its back, legs flailing like a happy oversized dog. Avery rubbed its belly as the aliens peeked out from behind barriers, whispering in disbelief. Next came fetch training. Avery tossed a boulder the size of a hover bike. Fluffy bounded after it, tail slapping the ground like a battering ram. The creature returned with not only the boulder, but also a large section of rock wall that happened to be attached. Avery blinked, maybe smaller rocks next time. Vrek groaned into his claws. Avery continued working through commands. Stay, follow, slow down, don't eat the equipment, don't sniff the reactor core, and definitely don't step on the hydroponics dome. Fluffy obeyed with varying degrees of enthusiasm, but always with unmistakable affection for Avery. The aliens gradually shifted from terror to amazement. For the first time, scientists approached the Vorkal with scanners, measuring neural responses to human speech patterns. They discovered that the creature's auditory centers reacted strongly to Avery's tone, almost like imprinting behavior. More importantly, Fluffy displayed advanced comprehension far beyond prior assumptions. It learned to navigate paths without crushing infrastructure. It recognized individuals by scent and posture. It even began curling protectively around the outpost at night, acting as a living containment shield. Avery was thrilled. See, he's just a big sweetheart. The aliens were less certain about the sweetheart part, especially when Fluffy snatched a passing drone out of the air like a toy. But they could not deny the results. Within a week, the outpost felt safer than it ever had. Predatory fauna avoided the area entirely, intimidated by Fluffy's presence. The once dangerous canyon became a secure perimeter, patrolled by the most unlikely guardian imaginable. And everywhere Avery walked, Fluffy lumbered behind her, humming contentedly. Peace didn't last forever. Relics 4 soon detected an approaching vessel, pirate raiders known for capturing alien settlements and leaving destruction behind. Panic surged through the outpost as alarms blared. The aliens scrambled into defensive positions while Avery calmly tightened her gloves. "Fluffy, stay close," she said. The massive creature pressed against her side, growling in a low quake-like rumble. The pirate ship descended through the clouds, weapons charged. Their commander broadcast a threat demanding immediate surrender. The aliens trembled, but Avery remained steady. Vrek whispered, "We cannot repel them, human. Their weaponry surpasses our defense grid." Avery nodded. "Good thing our defense isn't just a grid." The pirate ship landed outside the main gate, its hull bristling with cannons. Dozens of armored raiders disembarked, mocking the outpost's terrified defenders. Then they saw Fluffy. The ground shook as he stepped forward, towering above the pirates, eyes glowing like burning embers. The raiders froze, their weapons wavering. One whispered, "What is that?" Avery placed a hand on Fluffy's leg. "That's my friend." Fluffy roared, a sound so thunderous it cracked the ground and shattered several pirate helmets. Panic broke instantly. The raiders fired desperately, blaster bolts reflecting harmlessly off Fluffy's armored hide. He charged, moving with terrifying speed for his size, scattering pirates like debris in a storm. He swatted vehicles aside, crushed weapons underfoot, and used his tail to send raiders flying into the distance. Avery walked behind him at a calm stroll, avoiding falling debris with practiced ease. The battle lasted minutes. When it ended, the pirates fled in their battered ship, limping into orbit with a very clear message never to return. The outpost erupted in celebration. Vrek bowed his antennae deeply to Avery. "Human Collins, your creature has saved us all." Avery smiled and scratched Fluffy's chin. "He's not a creature," she corrected gently. "He's family." In the weeks that followed, Relics 4 transformed completely. The outpost, once nervous and fearful, became a thriving community protected by the galaxy's most unexpected guardian. Fluffy built a nest near the main gate, content to rest there like an oversized watchdog. Scientists visited from distant systems to study the Vorkal's newfound behavior, always under Avery's supervision. Fluffy tolerated them only because Avery said they were friends. The aliens of Relics 4 grew bold, exploring regions once deemed too dangerous. Trade routes opened, new structures rose, and morale soared. Avery became something of a local hero, much to her embarrassment. She insisted she only did what any human would, make friends with the scariest thing around. Fluffy followed her everywhere, humming happily, occasionally bringing her gifts, such as giant bones, uprooted trees, or entire abandoned transport containers. Avery politely returned these items, explaining that bringing home random industrial wreckage was not ideal behavior. Still, she praised him for the effort. Over time, Fluffy learned to help with construction, mining, and perimeter patrols. He even let children climb on his back, while Avery watched proudly. The legend spread far beyond Relics 4. Stories circulated of the human who tamed the untamable beast. Many believed the tales exaggerated. That changed when they visited and saw Fluffy wagging his enormous tail at Avery's voice. The outpost eventually created a monument, a sculpture of Avery and Fluffy together, symbolizing trust triumphing over fear. At the dedication ceremony, Vrek spoke solemnly. "You showed us that monsters are sometimes only misunderstood beings awaiting kindness." Avery shrugged modestly. Fluffy, meanwhile, wrapped his tail around her protectively, purring like distant thunder. Life on Relics 4 became brighter, safer, and significantly more interesting. And whenever travelers asked Avery how she accomplished the impossible, she always gave the same answer with a grin. "I didn't tame a monster," she said. "I just met a new friend."